So you're telling me there's a chance that the Patriots can contend in 2023? We'll find out by staying locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage and also your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, so smash that subscribe button. Download, subscribe to follow Locked On Patriots on your preferred podcast platform. Today's episode brought to you by Ultimate Football GM. If you've ever dreamed of becoming an NFL GM and managing your football franchise, this is the game for you. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up on the app stores. Our listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On. That's in all caps, folks, in the game store. So definitely check that out. Ultimate Football GM. And Patriots fans, thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. I'm your host, Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. Reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind on Twitter at MDABATENFL. And while you're out there showing some love to the Twitterverse, please be sure to follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. Pats fans, the Lombardi Trophy hasn't even found a new home technically yet. It hasn't gotten settled into its new home. And already the odds makers are on to 2023. That's right. While the New England Patriots, your New England Patriots, are taking all the steps in the right direction, at least we hope they are, to right their offensive ship this season, really right the entire ship in New England, the Las Vegas odds makers, they're not that impressed with what they see from your New England Patriots right now, despite the hiring of new offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien, the vote of confidence in quarterback Mac Jones by team owner Robert Kraft and several of his teammates. And also, let's not forget that the Patriots are retaining the services of Gerard Mayo. That was a big concern heading into the offseason. Patriots coaching staff looking strong right now, but unfortunately, folks, the Patriots are predicted once again to regress in 2023. We're not necessarily buying that here on Locked On Patriots because we're going to tell you today why it might be smart to be optimistic about the New England Patriots. Not overly optimistic, but we think they're going to be a lot better than the prognosticators of doom are saying. And I say we because it is the midweek here, and that means we are joined each and every Wednesday, as we always are, by my good friend and columnist extraordinaire of PatsPropaganda.com, as well as a host of A Clare Perspective of Patriots podcast. ClazzyClare Cooper is going to pop in here in just a moment, and we've got some fun activities planned, so stick around. I think you'll really enjoy what we have here on the show today. But the reason why Claire and I are hoping to paint a little more of a positive picture of what you see, rather than what you see in the national media, is because the Patriots are taking strides to make improvements on the deficiencies that they had last year. Again, the odds makers are not buying it. In fact, the odds of the Patriots winning Super Bowl 58 are the worst in the AFC East and among the long shots in the entire NFL. Fresh off their victory over the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday in Arizona, no one is really surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs have been installed as the early favorites to win next year's Super Bowl. That's going to take place February 11th, 2024 in Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, I know, Pats fans. You want this one. We all want to go to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, but the odds right now with the Patriots doing it are not great. I can't say that what we're going to tell you here on today's episode of Locked On Patriots is necessarily going to change that, but it might help you feel a little more optimistic than the picture that is painted, really, by the national media. And it's not a pretty one, no question about it. The Chiefs right now have 6-1 odds. They're followed by two more AFC teams, the Cincinnati Bengals at 8.5-1 and the Buffalo Bills at 9-1. The Eagles, they're still the favorites in the NFC, 9-1. I think that's interesting. The Eagles could have some major turnover on defense this year. They also had their coaching staff essentially I don't want to say gutted, but they had it stripped of a couple of key components. So that's an interesting opportunity for, I think, maybe some NFC teams like the San Francisco 49ers, like the Dallas Cowboys, to maybe sneak up a little bit here and say, hey, you know what? This team went to the max of what they could do. We're still knocking on the door here. We think we have a leg up on the competition. Keep your eye on the NFC, folks, next year. Really going to be interesting. But bottom line, here's where the big slap in the face to the Patriots came. Miami Dolphins, they're ahead of them at 30-1 right now. You can understand that Miami had a lot to build on. If Tua Tagovailoa comes back healthy this year and has a full healthy season, you have to like their chances with the offense and the defense that they show. That's a complete team there in Miami. The New York Jets, 25-1 right now. That's a little tough to take. The Patriots trailing the Jets in Super Bowl odds. Yeah, you know, it's like, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Things are automatically up on their ear. Even considering the fact that, the Patriots have beaten the Jets, I don't know, 14 times in a row. Yeah, that's a tough one. But again, the odds makers are looking at the logistics. They're looking at an 8-9 finish for the New England Patriots. They're looking at them coming in at 50-1. That's what an 8-9 finish, and contending right up until the final moment, really, of the regular season. Just not really a good picture, not really a positive picture. And there are only 8 teams in the NFL that have worse odds, according to the odds makers right now. Tom Brady's old team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've plummeted. How the mighty have fallen without TB12 under center. Tampa Bay 80-1. The two biggest long shots, really not a surprise here, the Arizona Cardinals and the Houston Texans, two teams that are in a lot of flux. Maybe some promise coming down the road 2-3 years down the line, but for right now, it's going to be lean times in both of those cities. They come in at 250-1. But folks, are the Patriots really that far away? After all, this is an 8-9 team. We're not talking about a 2-15 team. And despite all of the coaching problems, and there were a lot of them, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge just did not work. Injuries to a lot of key players, that's a factor that a lot of teams have to contend with. The Patriots were not immune to that. They had to deal with their injuries as well. And player regressions in 2022, Mac Jones, the most notable of those. This team was still in the hunt for a playoff spot until the last game of the season. And they had their chances to get several wins in games they ended up losing. Games just went the other way, unfortunately, for the Patriots. The game against the Cincinnati Bengals had their opportunities there without any question. Against the Las Vegas Raiders, they had their chances. Thanksgiving matchup with the Minnesota Vikings, I thought, was a winnable game for the Pats. These are all good teams that the Patriots took to the limit. So they're taking the steps to improve their standing in the 2023 season, already upgrading their coaching staff. Bill O'Brien coming in as the offensive coordinator, Adrian Clem coming in as the offensive line coach. That helps to fix a lot of the problems. They're also relatively well suited from a salary cap standpoint when it comes to free agency. Tip of the cap and a nod to the gods to my main man, Miguel, who is on top of all that. We're overdue for a Miguel appearance here, folks. Definitely stay tuned. We definitely want to get Miguel back on the pod soon so he can enlighten us with all of his financial wisdom and counsel and help us gain clarity on exactly where the Patriots stand financially heading into free agency. They also are projected to have up to 11 draft picks coming up in this upcoming draft. So the Patriots have the building blocks and the capital in place to make something happen, and maybe a little sooner rather than later. So if the national narrative might be a bit misdirected, here today on Locked On Patriots, I won't only be making the argument that it might be, but I'll have the mystical magic of the midweek monarch. That's right, folks. The Countess of Clare-Voyance, ClazzyClare Cooper, joins me here today on the pod, and we will be discussing the Patriots' chances for contention, and we're also going to take a look at two big concerns for the team. New segment here on Locked On Patriots called This or That, and we're going to get into that in just a moment, as well as this. But much more to come here on Locked On Patriots, folks. Stay locked in as Clare Cooper joins me here in just a moment. But first, folks, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Ultimate Football GM. We're all sports fans, and we all love to compete. Well, now it's your turn to compete, but more on that later. If you've ever dreamed of being an NFL GM and managing your football franchise, well, your dream can come true. And this game is definitely for you. I know as Patriots fans, you're all out there waiting, salivating at the opportunity to build your team back up into a dynasty. You hire the coordinators, you draft the right players. You're going to craft your Patriots team to get back into prominence. Ultimate Football GM can help you do that, folks. It can help you do that and really hone in your skills, and you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. You manage every strategic aspect of your team. You play through the seasons. You lead your team to glory. Try to build a dynasty. What better way for a Patriots fan to flex his or her football muscle? With Ultimate Football GM, you're responsible for controlling the destiny of your franchise. You can hire the right coaches and coordinators. You can trade players. You can navigate your franchise through free agency and the draft and all the ups and downs of a season. I can tell you from personal experience, having competed against my fellow Locked On hosts, this is a blast. We're still having a lot of fun talking about it. May not have been the best showing for my team, much like our New England Patriots, though. I'm building back, and we're going to get back to prominence, folks. Mark my words. But Ultimate Football GM provides all of this in a challenging and realistic game world. It's completely free. It's playable offline, so you can play on the go as you want, when you want to. And we've even created a Locked On League for you to compete against Locked On fans all over the world. If you think you can be the ultimate Locked On Football GM, choose the Locked On League in the app to join. If you can create a football dynasty, then you'll be a part of Locked On royalty. Locked On Patriots listeners, listen up, because you get a 100% free boost to your franchise when using the promo code Locked On. That's all caps. So look for the promo code Locked On. Use that in the game store. That's Locked On in all caps. So make sure to check it out today. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up on the app stores. That's ultimate-gm.com. Ultimate Football GM. Start your dynasty today. Patriots fans, today on Locked On Patriots, we're taking a look ahead, not just to 2023, but beyond that. And who better to take us into the future than not only the Countess of Claz, but today she is the Countess of Clare-Voyance. That's right. Claire, ClazzyClare Cooper of Pat's Propaganda and FPC Patriots joins me. Thank you for taking the time out to join me on Locked On Patriots today from across the pound, Countess.
Well, where else would I be on a Wednesday, really?
Well, we hope nowhere else. We love having you here. It really is our pleasure, our honor to host the Countess of Claz each and every Wednesday. And we really need the clairvoyance today, Claire. There's no question about it, because the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions, second time in 4 years. Great accomplishment, no question about it. They're sound in all three phases of the game, well coached, got the league's best quarterback, dominant tight end. Wait, where have I heard this before? But it sounds really familiar, doesn't it, Claire? Really? Yeah, Patriots fans, that's right. We've been there, we've done that, and for a lot longer than 4 years. But, you know, that's topic for another day. And I digress today. I'm not going to go that route. The Chiefs are the team to beat right now, and it's definitely warranted. But it wasn't so long ago that the Patriots were the team to beat. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, they're long gone. They're not walking back through that door. Patriots finished this season 8-9, missed the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. But as long as Bill Belichick is on those sidelines, Claire, we know that the Patriots can't be counted out. And in that vein, we turn to you, oh great one. That's right, folks. You knew it was coming. It is that time. Our very own famous sage and soothsayer. Don't laugh. I'm going to get through this, Claire. I'm going to. I know you don't like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. The all-knowing, all-seeing, all-omniscient Countess of Clare-Voyance here on Locked On Patriots. That's right, folks. It's time to read the tea leaves. And those tea leaves have been sealed. They've been kept in an ancient ceramic kettle. Really nice kettle. You got to check out the kettle sometimes, folks. On the shelf of NFL headquarters, right there, right next to the Super Bowl 57 script. I'm sorry. Sorry, Claire, who said that? I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Nobody heard it. Nobody heard that. Sorry, folks. Please disavow all knowledge. Get the little Men in Black pen. We're all set. But all kidding aside, no one, not even the illustrious Countess of Claz herself, knows the contents of these tea leaves until now. So, Countess, you've been so patient. I now put the question to you. How far are the New England Patriots from contending for a Super Bowl crown?
Well, this is it. How close are they to the next dynasty? Ooh, that's one for you, because I know that word's being thrown around like candy at the moment. But we will discuss the Patriots, as you said. In regards to how you say, how far away are they? And I kind of would prefer to say, how close are they? Because, I think that it gives more positivity to it. And I do believe, I do have positivity towards it. I am often a glass half full kind of girl anyway. But I think that when you look at the last couple of years, they were close to the playoffs. They got in the playoffs in Mac's first year, I believe. So they're close to the playoffs, and they have been. Now that they've got certain pieces in place that were very glaringly obvious were necessary in regards to an OC, and I know that we're hanging a lot of hats on Bill O'Brien being back, but from what we saw last season, it's difficult not to, because of how sort of severe the offensive coaching let them down and that kind of thing, and how it had a ripple effect on the rest of the team. And I mean, you only have to look on social media quickly to see sort of different reports and different comments of sort of how it was mentioned sort of in the locker room and things like that. There's lots of hearsay and theresay, if you like, in regards to how it affected the team, sort of from whichever level you want to talk about it. So for me personally, I think it's how close are they? And I think they could be close. There was I believe there was a poll out on Twitter. Now, I know that a lot of people put this individual kind of in the very inflammatory column when it comes to like radio shows and this, that, and the other, and I don't kind of see it so much over here because it's like Boston sports radio and stuff like this. But there was a poll out there of how many years away from sort of the Super Bowl are the Patriots, and I think less than 5 years was the shortest amount, and that's kind of what won out. That was the highest percentage when I looked last today on Wednesday, and I think that's fair. I think less than 5 years, I do believe, is fair. My humble opinion as a fan that tries to absorb as much knowledge as she can of the sport in the sort of the relatively short time that I've had chance to, is that a few years, I kind of give it a few years, because it feels like Mac is back at the beginning a lot because of what happened last season. And he's now got sort of plenty of coaching staff around him. A lot of it is going to come down to what happens sort of during this off season, when it comes to draft and free agency, what they build around the quarterback, how they look at the roster, how they solidify, that sort of thing. It's going to take some pieces, and I know that we'll sort of maybe talk about that later and on other shows, of sort of what's really necessary in regards to surrounding Mac Jones with what he needs, kind of thing. But I think looking at what they've done, they can see the Patriots have seen what mistakes happened last season, and they're moving to correct that quite significantly. They did last season when they drafted plenty of speed, because the one thing that sort of fans were crying out for was youth and speed when it came to certain positions, and they started to sort of tick those boxes last season. We saw the issues with the coaching, and now it feels like they're looking to sort of tick those boxes this season. So it's building on. So they're looking at sort of restacking the deck from when they lost Tom Brady. Now, I know we're several years out from him now, and granted, but they've gone through teething problems. There was the Cam Newton semi era, and then Mac Jones's second year blip and things like this. So there's teething problems, and there's always going to be when you're going for something so significant as you mentioned, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman. You're going from something that was amazing to experience and to go through and to watch, and it's going to take some time to get from that back to something really successful. The times needed to adapt and evolve, and I think that's what we're seeing the evolvement of the Patriots. And I think that I don't believe with someone like Bill Belichick as coach, and hopefully several years we still got from him, and the back staff of, if you want to call it, or however you want to sort of brand Mr. Kraft and the Kraft family in regards to the ownership of it. There's very football savvy, very clever, smart individuals there looking to grow this future, to evolve, as I said. So for me personally, I think we've got a couple of years. I think I give them a couple of years still before I think they're really back in contention. Sorry. Now, if it happened in 2023, it'd be like, okay, he just, he sped it up a little bit and that's fine. That's
Come on, Claire. We want to hear they're right in the thick of it so we can book our trip to Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58. That's what Patriots fans want. We want Vegas. That's what we're not. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Is it Vegas?
It will be Allegiant. Yeah, Allegiant Stadium. Absolutely. Yeah.
See, how beautiful would that be for the Patriots to go off to where the old OC went, kind of thing, to school that stadium when it comes to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, is it impossible?
Well, last time the Patriots played there, it didn't end so well. So we're not
we don't talk about that. That is one of those that shall not be mentioned now situations.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't talk about that. And what better way to erase that to go back and win the Super Bowl there? But
very good. See,
in all seriousness, I mean, if you said to me, do you believe that the Patriots have a chance of going to the Super Bowl this year? Personally, they have a chance because they got so close to the playoffs. Now, how big a chance this season? I think there's still too much that they've got to evolve through, to sort out, to get right, to build. So for me, Super Bowl 2023 feels a little bit soon, but my fan opinion is it's coming in those next few years. They're going to get back up there. Will they be that dynasty of multiple Super Bowls? Probably not, because you've got individuals like Tom Brady who are, so significant. And Mac Jones isn't Tom Brady. He's a good quarterback. Let's hope he's a really good quarterback. And I just think that, give it a chance for the next few years. And I think they're going to be up there in contention. I really do.
I would definitely agree with you on that. I think they are a team that is more, I think, closer to contention than a lot of people would have you believe. And I think a lot of that stems from the coaching changes that they've made. I think a lot of that stems from a lot of the problems that the Patriots experiencing in 2022 were really more logistical, fundamental, rather than a lack of talent at certain positions. Yeah, there are positions where they definitely need to upgrade. I would love to see them upgrade the offensive line. I think that's an area where they do need some young, new talent and maybe a couple of savvy veterans to come in and shore up that line. They could add a cornerback. They can add a wide receiver, maybe even a little bit of talent at running back. Those are the types of positions that I think the Patriots could use a little bit of an upgrade or a facelift. But at the same time, they still have a solid core nucleus in place. I mentioned here yesterday on Locked On Patriots, I think that they have a very good quarterback situation with Mac Jones as the starter. Bailey Zappi, one of the better backup options in the league. And that counts for something, especially with injuries and things that can happen when you know that you can turn the ball over to a guy that is well suited to lead your offense. You're in good shape there. So I think all these little building blocks will help the New England Patriots get to where they need to be. But I'm in firm agreement with you. I think if you're booking your trip to Las Vegas, you're probably going to be disappointed, Patriots fans. Although stranger things have happened. If there's a team that can pull it off in the way that they're coached and the attitude that they have and the work ethic that they bring to the table each and every day, the Patriots can rekindle a little bit of that old magic. They have as good a shot as anybody. They were almost in the playoffs last year, and that was really with, I think, like a dumpster fire burning around them for a lot of that season, with a lot of the difficulty they had with injury and coaching problems. So good stuff, Countess. Good stuff as well. And I'm glad that you mentioned the steps back about Mac Jones. And I tried to articulate that a little bit yesterday, and I think you did a phenomenal job of really building on that. I remember a former supervisor that I used to work for when I worked in the private sector saying about steps back and then moving steps forward. He said it's important to always maintain a realistic goal when it comes to taking your step back forward, stepping back through those footsteps that you already left, because they're going to be bigger the next time you put your foot into that step. It's just the nature of the way science works. You put your foot into a footstep, it expands. So the next time, you're not blazing a trail anymore. You're already going into an area, and there's more land to climb out from when you take that next step forward. That's a good analogy, I think, from Mac Jones. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve and a little bit of a building block, but once he moves beyond it, the trail that he's going to forge this time, I think, is going to be a lot stronger because of Bill O'Brien at the helm. So, Claire, you're always hitting it out of the park with the Clare-Voyance. We love the Clare-Voyance, but we're about to introduce a new segment here on Locked On Patriots called This or That. Yeah, I'm just going to let the Countess of Class sort this out, and I'm going to let her dictate exactly how that's going to play out in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, today's episode brought to you by our good friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the midway point of the NBA season, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Not a bad deal. And just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, it's super easy to use, and then you can bet on everything from the money line to the point scorers and the threes that are drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Patriots fans, the illustrious ClazzyClare Cooper, columnist extraordinaire at PatsPropaganda.com, and also the host of her very own Patriots podcast, one of the best listens anywhere in Patriots media, a Claire Perspective of Patriots podcast, powered by Full Press Coverage Patriots. And Claire, definitely one of the great listens, folks. Definitely smash that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. You can thank me later. You'll love it. We had some fun with the Clare-Voyance segment. We always do. I get a chance to channel my inner Johnny Carson, and I thank you for that. But now we're going to introduce a new segment here on Locked On Patriots called This or That. And since we agree, Countess, that the Patriots are still at least a few years away from contending, that means that they have some work to do in Foxborough. And two of the areas in which the Patriots struggled most in 2022 were on special teams and on offense in the passing game. So here's where we start this or that. What's the bigger concern here, Claire? Now, not necessarily the bigger problem, because we all know the big problems, well, they can have clear-cut solutions. But the concerning problem, that's where things get tricky here. And that's where we need your wisdom and counsel, Countess. So I pose the question to you, Claire. What is the Patriots' bigger concern? Is it special teams or is it the passing offense?
See, I love how you try all these things with me. It's always me that ends up having to try all these different things.
Because you're the only one that can handle it. I only give the workload to those that can carry it. That is why I trust you, Countess.
Okay.
Come on, I thought that was
let that
pretty
one
good.
go. Okay.
Come on, I thought that was pretty good. A little bit.
Fine. This or that. Okay. Now, I think a lot of people will expect me to say, oh, it'll be the passing offense, because we've discussed probably ad nauseum now the concern of the offensive line, and and a lot of people want that wide receiver one and the offensive weapon. However, for me personally, they've brought in an O-line coach, and that does not fix everything. Granted, it doesn't. However, it really stacks up my confidence when they've got a play caller and an offensive line coach as two separate individuals. Not only two separate individuals who are both experienced in their fields. Wow, folks,
Imagine that.
Believe it. But I know this is it. Rocket science, it's not. But no more cheap shots at Manny P.
That was nice.
Good for me, the sneaky. Like thank you. I do try. But the thing that's kind of like a sneaky under the radar concern now for me is the special teams, because they had kind of a poor performance for the last couple of years, as you mentioned. The coaching under, I always pronounce his name wrong. I'm going to let you pronounce it because I usually get it the wrong way round. Cameron, it's not Accord.
Atchett,
that's it. I always do it wrong. It's that one name that just like stays incorrect in my mind. Unfortunately, as great as the guy may be, under him, the special teams was not sort of performing the way that you expect a Patriots special teams to perform, because it was always one of those strengths. It was always that sneaky thing that the Patriots seemed to have over the rest of the NFL. They had this real strength when it came to special teams. And that was, although, yes, they had Tom Brady and the Gronkowski and all that kind of stuff, but it kind of always came back down to the special teams was that sneaky good thing that other teams didn't seem to have and the Patriots seems to have. And that just kind of got wiped out the last 2 years. this. And it's very unfortunate. And I'm surprised that it kind of happened over 2 years and that Belichick kind of let that happen. But that's a conversation for another day, really. So for me, when I looked at the free agency list as well, and this is what really gets me, and I hope I'm not like really concerning people, but excuse my notes, but the dudes that are going out for free agency when it comes to like special teams is you've got the punter in Palardi, you've got the kicker Quinn Nordin, he's on free agency, you've also got Cody Davis, who I know that he's one of those silent sort of, I don't say weapons, but he's been on the team for a while. And I think that for someone like that, I think the fact that we don't hear his name significantly is what's important, because that means he's doing his job properly. It's one of those kind of reverse things that I think works out. And also, I think I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, something that concerned me was Joe Cardona's a free agent as well. Now, just because they're free agents doesn't mean they're going to get let go, obviously. However, there's a lot of holes to fill. And it's a lot of, contracts to sort of make sure that they sign and things like that. And Nick Folk, for the amount that he's worshipped, and I think he should be, because he's fantastic. He came in and he picked up that scepter and just sorted it all out when it came to the kicking game. And he had big shoes to fill when he came in kind of off like the bat of Gostkowski and stuff like that. He's, I hate to say he's getting on in age. I hate this when all these guys are younger than like we are generally and stuff like that. But he is, and he's had injury and he's had time out for injury. So he isn't going to be kicking forever. And as much as a lot of people don't like to kind of put onus on kicking, the kicking game is really important. And we've seen that when it's been unsuccessful in certain teams. So special teams for me is this kind of off-season concern of, I hope that it doesn't need to have bells and whistles. It doesn't need to sort of throw a party and announce its success or anything like that. But I really think that the special teams needs to be kept an eye on, and they need to make sure that they do what's right, because it only takes a small piece of special teams to sort of really screw up a game in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect, because you look at it as it's just special teams. He's just a long snapper. He's just a punter. And I just think that kind of, I don't want to say disrespect, because that's maybe really too strong a word, but sometimes it is a disrespect to the position, because they aren't seen the way that a wide receiver is seen and stuff like this, because they're not sparkly. They don't put those numbers on the board. But when we don't have good in those positions, other things seem to crumble. And I think it's really important that they get those building blocks in place, as much as it is like the O-line and things like that, as we've talked about plenty on this show. So I won't go into it obviously now. But yeah, for me, my biggest concern, if you're giving me a this or that, is the special teams. I'm sort of keeping my fingers crossed and keeping my eyes open that they get these guys signed off at free agency or re-signed, or, they really look into maintaining Nick Folk, maybe drafting a kicker that's kind of the successor, that sort of thing. And there's going to be people up in arms because drafting a kicker and people hate it. But come on, folks, when we don't have a good kicker, when you don't get those field goals, when you don't get those extra points, things can fall apart and you can lose a game by that extra point. And if you've got a kicker who's competent and you've got a kicker who's working well, it really is sometimes the key to success. So for me, as much as it's probably not really going to be liked by some of the Patriots fans, is special teams. I kind of got a bit of a soft spot for special teams now, because I like to champion punters and kickers. And I mean, we've got Jake Bailey with his sort of contract issue. So is he really coming back? When you look at the names and you look at the positions on special teams, it's actually way more dire than maybe we went into the offseason thinking. Sorry, folks, just added a massive negative. I do apologise, but he asked me this or that, which one I was more concerned with. So he asked me in the negative. So
I did ask the question, and I'm in firm agreement with you. Because I think that if you're looking at a more concerning problem for the New England Patriots, it's got to be special teams. Look, passing game had its hiccups last year. There's no question about it. I know a lot of our fans out there watching on YouTube, listening to, Locked On, wherever you're listening from right now, are saying, oh, the passing game was terrible last year. They couldn't find the end zone. They couldn't do this. A lot of that is true. Most of that was scheme, folks. most of that was scheme.
Exactly.
And
this is why I'm not concerned. I'm sorry
and
to
the
talk over you, but this is
inability,
why I'm not worried. Is because it can be
exactly.
sorted. It's the special teams that I don't feel like is going to get sorted. The passing game is going to get sorted. It's something that they're going to address, and they've already started to address, as we aforementioned in the in the previous segment. Really, it's going to be kind of addressed. So I think that's one of the main reasons why special teams is even more up there with the concern, is because we haven't seen anything yet that means they're going to address it. And that's kind of why I'm worried about it. Sorry to talk over you. I apologize.
No. Don't apologize. I think you're absolutely right. When you look at the offensive line, a lot of that was just basically ill-prepared, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think the other factor was injury. That was, somewhat of a factor as well. But and unfortunately, you can't control that. That's not anyone's fault. No one on the line, no one on the coaching staff. That just happens. But where the coaching staff, I think, will help is more discipline. You're going to see a lot more focus on eliminating costly penalties. And there were a lot of those last year for the Patriots on the O-line. Adrian Clem coming in runs a very tight ship. The job that he did in Oregon, really kind of scheming that run blocking system that allowed their team to work so well, is something that I think the Patriots are really going to absorb, and they're really, really going to enjoy. But he's also a very good coordinator when it comes to passing protection as well. And I think you're going to see that. Bill O'Brien coming in, I think right off the bat, upgrades your passing schemes. His vision, his ability to put people in place is really going to speak volumes on the field, and you're going to see an immediate impact right away. So in terms of a problem, yes, the Patriots do have to fix that passing game, but I think they've already gone a large step in doing that. But special teams, I mean, there were quite a few special team snafus last year without any question. I don't want to make it seem like it was all doom and gloom. Marcus Jones is a bright spot on that unit. He can break. He's a good kick returner, good pass returner, a good punt returner and good kick returner, excuse me. Yeah, he can return passes too, folks. He's done it all. This guy can pretty much do anything on the field. I love what I see from Marcus Jones. I also love what I see from Brendan Schooler as well. I think this kid is a solid core special teamer, rookie, really, really good in terms of being able to be on the field. A couple of fumble recoveries on punt returns this year shows that he's in the right place at the right time. He has the instincts to succeed here, but the kicking game was unreliable this year, and I think that's a really new development for the Patriots. Nick Folk still had a solid season, 5 missed field goals, 3 extra points missed. So there are moments where he's going to look at that and say, all right, well, these are difficult circumstances to overcome. Then you also look at the difficulty that Jake Bailey had. The league's worst punting at 41.7 yards and net punting at 35.9. As a result, Patriots opponents had the best starting field percentage at the 28-yard line in the league. The Patriots also allowed 18 points surrendered on special teams. That was the most in the NFL. You know that doesn't sit well with Bill Belichick because he places such a premium on the special teams unit being a cohesive and sharp and precise unit. It certainly wasn't that this year. So the Patriots have their work cut out for them. And if Matthew Slater retires, then you really have some issues. Because then you're looking at someone who is the field director on the field, trying to get these guys to play well, doing what he can to keep them in line. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the coach, but Matthew is such a big part of what they do out there, and the Patriots are going to miss that wisdom and counsel as well. But still holding out hope that he doesn't, Claire. I would love to see one more year of Matt Slater. I think everyone in Patriots Nation would. But we'll see. We'll see what the football gods have in store for us. But thank you for indulging me in playing this or that. Claire, truly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you are the world's greatest sport when it comes to trying out new things here on Locked On Patriots, and you always knock it out of the park. So, folks, if you like this or that segment, drop us a line in the comments. Let us know, something we'd love to continue. Claire is obviously great at it, so why not, right, folks? Keep it going. But in all fairness, it's always my honor and always my privilege to share the microphone with you here each and every Wednesday. Before I let you go, Claire, please let everyone know where they can interact with you, and let us know what we can expect in the coming days and, well, weeks from the great pen, the great voice of ClazzyClare Cooper, our esteemed Countess of Clare-Voyance.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. And I'm glad you gave me the opportunity. I very much appreciate it, because I kind of wanted to give a quick shout out, everybody. Next week, so we are now Wednesday, the 15th of Feb. So next week will be the Clare Perspective 2-year anniversary. So yes, you've been putting up with me for 2 years, folks, on a Clare Perspective. Thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody, obviously, who's listening, who listens to the podcast, for their support. What I am asking you guys to do is I want to make this anniversary episode a mailbag edition. So I want to hear from you. So I want to hear from all my listeners. It doesn't necessarily have to be Patriots. It can be Patriots NFL related as well if you want, because we are in the off season, so there's only so many topics when it comes to the Patriots. So Patriots, NFL, and or other questions as well are welcome, within reason. It's a reasonable family show, so, you know, keeping it cleanish. So I do appreciate it. So if you can get in touch at ClazzyClare, so it's at ClazzyClare. There will be a tweet coming out the weekend sort of asking for questions. So if you check out on social media and find them on there. But yeah, I'm asking for your questions. So by next Tuesday, I want to have heard from all of you, please, with your questions for me to fill up my mailbag edition of A Clare Perspective.
Definitely, folks. Do not miss the opportunity. Let Claire know what's on your mind and absorb the wisdom and counsel the way only she can provide it. She provides us with a little bit of that wisdom and counsel here each and every week, but definitely check out A Clare Perspective and participate in that mailbag episode. You know, Claire, speaking of mailbags, I think you've inspired me a little bit here on Locked On Patriots. Maybe, just maybe, we can bring back the midweek mailbag. And you know who our guest is each and every Wednesday. That's right, the monarch of midweek. Yet another name for you, Claire. How do you like that? See, we're not only giving you business, we're also providing you with a new moniker. Love it. Absolutely love it. All kidding aside, folks, participate. I take offense to that. No, I'm kidding. I don't take offense to that. It is exhausting being on here, but you're up to the challenge, and we're going to continue to invite you back because we love having you here. Folks, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to make Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage, and also your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots, free and available on all platforms. So smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Download, subscribe to, follow Locked On Patriots on your favorite podcast platform. On behalf of the illustrious ClazzyClare Cooper, I'm Mike Debate. Continue, folks, to stay safe and stay well. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone.